How do you rise? How do you make yourself something out of nothing? Does it take days, weeks, years, or does it take a lifetime? For the Ryerson Rams, it took the vision of one man, a leader with a dream of turning an athletic program around. It was a school defined more by its losses than by its wins. Now it's something more, something greater. This is the Rise of the Rams. Ivan Joseph is Ryerson University's athletic director, a former track and field star, and a national championship winning soccer coach in the U.S. He's now the man behind the madness at Ryerson's rising athletic program.
Thanks, keep up the good work.
He's no stranger to hard work or long hours. Growing up on a farm outside Toronto, he's used to waking up at the crack of dawn. It's why he shows up to Ryerson at 6:30 in the morning, ready to work. The first time Ryerson offered Joseph the job, he said no. He ended up turning it down 3 times. But a phone call from the university's president, Sheldon Levy, changed his mind.
I might have tried to sell him on that we're going to do wonderful things, and he might have said, well, I'll take a chance and believe the guy.
One of the things he said to me is that, he said, our academic reputation of our university is shooting out the roof, yet nobody knows about it. And partly in turn is that our athletics reputation hasn't kept up. He says athletics plays an important part in advancing the university's reputation, and it plays an important part at maintaining what's called the esprit de corps, the spirit of a campus. And I want you to help us build that.
To tell the story of the rise of the Ryerson Rams, you have to look at where these teams once were, where winning was unheard of, and dreams of a championship were nothing more than a joke.
You looked at the facilities at Ryerson, you looked at what was happening here. They were, the gym looked like a high school gym. The teams, every single team but one had a losing record.
The other teams during my time at Ryerson, to put it diplomatically, were generally terrible. Women's basketball couldn't quite get over the hump. Men's hockey just couldn't get anything going. If you go through Hockey DB, you'd see a lot of guys who show up a year and then disappear, sort of like a breeze in the wind.
My first time, 2 weeks I was here, athletics, who cares? That was the title of the first article when I came here.
Dubois cared, and tried to pass a referendum in 2004 that would increase athletic fees. But Ryerson students were unconvinced, and the vote failed to pass.
Well, you know what? We were inexperienced when we went into that referendum, and that really, really showed.
3 years after that failed referendum, the Rams continued their losing ways, and Dubois was fired.
Often when you get let go, it's a personality issue. People didn't see my vision, and that's their choice. They were the ones making the decision, and I have to live by that.
We had to make changes, and we had to up our game in every respect.
That's where Joseph came in. He and Levy tried to pass another referendum in 2009. This time, it worked. And though it wasn't in the original plan, the two were presented with a golden opportunity, the chance to move into the former home of the Toronto Maple Leafs, the historic Maple Leaf Gardens. After undergoing a massive renovation and rebranded as the Mattamy Athletic Centre, Ryerson now had a home. It didn't take long for some of the best young athletes in the country to notice.
The opportunity to play at Maple Leaf Gardens as a Leaf fan my whole life, I thought would be a great opportunity.
Once we got the Mattamy Athletic Centre, I think it did change how fans viewed coming to our games. This is where sports happens in Toronto now.
With the new facility in place, Joseph's next step was hiring championship caliber coaches to build successful teams. When the future of the women's hockey team at St. Mary's University was in question, Joseph and Associate Athletic Director Stephanie White set their sights on Lisa Haley.
I came to Ryerson when some tough financial times struck at St. Mary's, and some program changes were made, and women's hockey was taken off the docket, and so I was looking for a new opportunity.
This is a really good young coach that's coming highly recommended. I think she's going to be a future Olympic level coach, and there's a problem going on with St. Mary's, and I want to get her while this window is open.
I think here at Ryerson, with this fantastic facility and the investment of all types of resources into varsity athletics, this is the kind of place that I believe you could build a winning program at. Trust me, guys, you are ready for what's about to happen. You've put a lot of work in to get to this stage of the game, and you are now ready for what's about to happen next. And when you get out on the ice, you're going to trust your instincts, all right? You've worked hard, you know what to do in every situation. It may not be perfect every single time, but you know exactly what to do, and I want you to rely on your instincts.
Ryerson's latest addition to its varsity ranks is the women's hockey team. It's also one of the university's fastest growing sports programs. It all started nearly a decade ago with the Stingers, a club team founded by Stephanie Veltman.
I think at first it was maybe a little bit selfish. I wanted to play hockey, and I wanted to do it at Ryerson. But the more I looked into it, I realized that there was a lot of opportunity in the city. There's a lot of talent here. And, I looked into what was available for me to play in the city, and as most women will know, there aren't very many options for women's hockey here. I thought there was opportunity here.
It takes a trial period before a club team becomes a varsity program, but once Ryerson took the Stingers under their wing, it opened up a whole new level of resources. Joseph hired Haley, but that move alone didn't yet make them into legitimate contenders. That first year, they only won one game. They finished the year losing 23 in a row.
That first season really was less about the present players and winning hockey games. It was more about getting the overall vision for the first 5 years of the program.
I mean, honestly, we had a game that we played against Laurier in Laurier, and we lost 11-0. And that was obviously by far the worst game I had ever been a part of, and I'm sure everybody else had been a part of. But after that game, no one got down and thought, what's the point of this?
We were going to have a tough challenge. The Ontario Conference already is a really competitive conference, and so that was a moment. But in terms of the Laurier game, we still reference that game this year.
Coming to a team that was new, although I knew it was new, I didn't realize just how badly we would get beat in the beginning. We lost by double. They had scored in the double digits, and I just thought, I don't think I've ever played on a team where we've been lost so badly.
We both knew that Lisa's an unbelievable coach and that she was going to turn the team around, and it was just a matter of time.
Slowly, things began to change. Double-digit blowouts turned into marginal losses. This season, it all clicked.
Hello and welcome to tonight's game. I'm Jeremy Pearl. Tonight's matchup on the Rams Network, the Ryerson Rams taking on crosstown rival York Lions. A win for the Rams, they're in the playoffs for the first time. If they lose, their season's over. Emma Rutherford coming and scores! Emma Rutherford has given the Rams a 1-0 lead. That could be the goal that puts them in the playoffs. They've done it! The Rams are playoff bound for the first time in their history.
Our women's hockey team. It's a great example of what has changed here at Ryerson. In my first years, they didn't exist. There wasn't a women's hockey team here at Ryerson, and all of a sudden this year, here they are in the playoffs on home ice. It's just fantastic. That might be the biggest success story of Ryerson, period.
We're not done by a long shot yet. We still have some recruiting to do. We still have some, I think, offensive skill to add to our team, but we're headed in the right direction. I think we wanted to be in a playoff spot within 4 years, and we're there, and now the next timeline is getting a banner to hang in those rafters.
Intense, relentless, demanding, quest for perfection in everything we do. That's kind of who I am.
I believe he's my second hire, all right? And, there was another coach we tried to get ahead of Roy, to be honest with you, and Roy was right there on the line, but, Roy was almost the biggest mistake I made by not getting him.
Always kind of thought this was a place that was underrated. It was a real opportunity to build something. It had a real kind of a history of not a lot of success.
I liked him because he represented our values. He was he came from an underrepresented group. He was from the city of Toronto. He was grassroots basketball. I wanted to change this program, and he sold a vision.
You could definitely feel the change once Roy started coaching the team, especially from a preparation perspective. The way we practiced, the intensity was always extremely high, never taking days off, no matter if we were lifting, in practice, even shoot-arounds were intense.
On the court, Roy Rana brought a new style of play, one that could compete with the best in the country. This season, Rana took the Rams all the way to the provincial championship, but losses to Carleton and Ottawa sent them back to Toronto with nothing to show for it. The season wasn't over for Rana or the Rams, though. The country's top teams would compete this year on Ryerson's home court. As hosts, Ryerson was given an automatic berth in the national championship, the CIS Final 8.
I've been in a lot of fish bowls. I've been in a lot of crazy situations where there's way more hype than there is even with the CIS right now. And they just got to be prepared for it. And I think they are. They know it's coming. And I think we've done a pretty good job of balancing it.
I want it so badly. And I think we're due. That's really the thing. I don't see why we cannot win. So I definitely think they should be winning it, but I don't want to jinx them. Yeah.
We see this Nationals, this very first one, as our coming out party. We want to showcase not just our basketball team, but all our teams. We want to showcase our university at the national stage and tell people we've arrived.
They've been waiting all season for this. Game 1 of Nationals, quarterfinal game, Ryerson Rams, Windsor Lancers. Winner goes on to the national semifinal. The Rams knock off the Windsor Lancers. With that win, they move on to the national semifinal, while they'll take on OUA rivals Ottawa GGs.
With a win over Windsor, Ryerson moved on to the semifinals, where they would take on the Ottawa GGs. It's a team they've lost to their last 7 encounters.
Well, the thing about Ryerson is that, when you play roulette and, it's red, it's red, it's red, it's red, it's red. At some point it's going to hit black, right?
The Ottawa GGs, the Ryerson Rams, national semifinal. The stage has been set. Winner moves on to the national championship to face the dreaded Carleton Ravens.
I don't think we're on the rise. I think we're there. It's just, we haven't been able to get over that hump and beat them. But, games like yesterday, they turn on a call, they turn on a dunk, they turn on a missed shot. I mean, that's basketball when it's played by two teams at the highest level.
The Ryerson Rams beat the Victoria Vikes in the bronze medal game the following day. It was the highest any Ryerson varsity team ever placed at a national championship.
It's not really an OUA banner that we're going after. It's really a national championship banner that we're going after. And that's not going to take only 4 or 5 years to achieve. You know, at one time, 6 of our 8 teams were nationally ranked. The academic performance of our teams is an all-time high. So I think, you know, the strategic plan has been a big, big success. But the work has just begun, as we like to say. We're at the next phase, and we're trying to identify what those parts are and what those goals and objectives will be that will see us achieve our goal, which is ultimately to be the best athletic department in the country.